there are still people out there that are like, he said he was going to reveal this Easter egg. Like there was, has everything been found? Is there still something out there? There's still stuff out there that you buried in some of this stuff.
And Jeff, to be honest, if I have my way, I'll be dead and buried, and there'll still be stuff in there, and I'll be quite happy.
He's such a troll, bro. He's such a troll. Blundell, man. Dude, that guy is such a troll. He's so funny. He's just such a troll. He's like, I'll be happy if they never find it. I'm gonna bring it to the grave. That's crazy.
8 months ago, I released my first impossible Easter egg.
Here's the other thing. That's a great question. What if there is no impossible Easter egg?
Video, sparking an
That's a great
uprising
question.
of Easter egg hunting in the zombies community. Since then, there has been a lot of clever people hard at work studying a multitude of complex theories with profound
I don't think it exists.
Ranging from
I'm starting to think it
moments of
doesn't
genius
exist.
and moments of delusion. But can you really blame us? Call of Duty Zombies over the years has subverted our expectations time and time again, conditioning us to consider every idea within the realm of possibility. All this discussion that carries on outside of the game is a foundation for what turned this insignificant little side mode into so much more. Understandably, the intensity of the impossible Easter egg hunt has faded out a little bit, as people have exhausted all the ideas and are losing a bit of motivation. And
I also think it's because certain YouTubers have come out saying they found the impossible Easter egg. Brother, no, you did not. Like, if you did, Blundell himself would have said it on that freaking interview, my guy. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the fact he's still doing interviews, to me, proves that he would come out and say if someone found it.
I know for a long time people have been asking for updates because I haven't covered the topic in months, simply because I felt like there wasn't anything of value I had to add, or at least to make a video on. But today, I'm excited to say that has finally changed. Over
No
the
way!
last month, I've been working
this is exciting.
to make sense of a new breakthrough that we've had, which
this
I
is
initially
exciting!
intended to make a solo video on. That was until we had an even more major development. A whole separate breakthrough. So this video will be constructed in 2 major parts.
I'm excited.
What we are going to go through today is without a doubt the most groundbreaking pieces of progress
this is
on
wild.
the impossible Easter egg so far. I think this video is going to reignite the fire for the egg, and people will be searching more thoroughly than ever before.
Let's
If
go.
you haven't seen any of my previous videos,
Yeah, I've seen all the other
at
ones.
least go watch the
Dude,
first one
look at the hype on this video. Absolute W Sky. 1.6 million people still care about Black Ops 3, bro. That proves, like, that video that Sky posted to me proves that the BO3 Zombies community is still alive and well. We are yearning. We are hungry, my guy.
Context to what
Let's
I'm
go.
talking about here, so you can really appreciate the progress that we have made. All of those videos will be linked in the description. But I'm sure a lot of you are up to date with this whole impossible Easter egg.
No community like the Zombies community,
I
man.
say sit tight, watch this video in full, because all these segments are going to be intertwined. Luckily, these findings are not too convoluted in nature, so they are relatively easy to understand. I hope it's quite evident that a lot of work goes into these videos.
For sure.
99% of the people that watch
subscribe. That's a freaking ratio, bro. I only have 50-50. Boys, sub to Sky. I'm already sub, right? Oh, thank goodness, bro. Frick. Bro, I'm putting the bell on. Put all those freaking notifications on. Frick, man. Come on, Sky. Let's lock in, man.
This video.
Let's lock in.
Leave a like. I'd be very grateful.
Let's go. I'm excited. What is he going to say? Let's recap.
A bit, shall we?
Oh, here it is. So again, he's going to talk about the KN-44 Hypercube stuff. But how does that connect in with what he found?
Before we go deep on our new findings, we need to establish some important reference points going forward. You're going to have to bear with me because this will all tie together in the end. Our first point of reference lies within the words of the man himself, Jason Blundell.
Basically.
Right.
Mr.
Dalek JD.
I think there's people out there who there's such passion in the community. I don't watch it close enough, but I am sure there are people who are still working on some of those ciphers.
Oh, of course there is. Yeah.
This brother wearing Yeezys. That's crazy.
And I love that because there's other things that will appear.
Okay.
But yeah,
I need to reiterate that I think this is the single most important piece of information that we ever received from
Really?
Blundell. But we're gonna circle
did I
back
just
to
miss
this
it?
later.
What did I
Over
watch?
the duration of this hunt, there have been a lot of clever theories and great videos made about what the impossible Easter egg is. During all this time, my focus has always revolved around the KN-44
Right.
Hypercube blueprint.
So is
a
it
torn
not
paper
that?
Easter egg that was found on the Black Ops 3 Zombies map, the Giant. Some people's faith wavered in my theory after questions were raised if the KN-44 was actually significant or not.
No, I definitely think it is. I definitely think it is.
To keep it
100%.
short, let me reassure you, it definitely is.
Yeah,
Other
yeah,
critical
definitely.
yet separate points of focus in the impossible Easter egg hunt have been all the unsolved.
It has to be, because there's nothing that correlates with that image. There's there's no substance to it other than what he found in his last video.
Ciphers in Black Ops 3 Zombies, and the infamous John D and his books in Derizatruk. Glitch
Right.
and Queen initially
And Glitch and Queen
ignited
found
this
this,
John
yes.
D theory with
Yeah.
a great video exploring the world of this historical mathematician from the 15th century, and how there were 24 named books that he wrote that can be
Right.
found scattered across Derizatruk. D's
Yeah.
work is also referenced in the Black Ops 3 Zombie leveling system as the
Right.
title for certain
Yeah, Glitch and
ranks.
Queen was talking
we
about
also
this.
entertained the idea that the titles of these books could somehow string together a cipher, as D was involved with his fair share of cryptography in his time. The game,
Dude, whoever solves this impossible Easter egg honestly deserves a Nobel Prize. I'm gonna be honest. Is this not the biggest video game Easter egg hunt of all time? I think it might as well could be.
Revolution then
You know?
added to this, making
It
another
might as
brilliant
well could
theory
be.
video about how he believes historical figures like John Dee and his assistant Edward Kelly are actually Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man, and that in itself is the impossible Easter egg. A theory that is
Asher for
based
Prime.
upon one of the pages from the infamous BO3 developer docs. Now, initially, I wasn't sure if John Dee's books in Derizatruk were going to be a cipher, as in the developer docs, all the ciphers are clearly listed in their own segment, where these
Right.
books are actually listed on the long list of props, a part of the assets. Obviously, that doesn't fully rule out all suspicion, but I wasn't sure if this was significant or it was simply just another one of the many historical references that Zombie often makes within its story. Although TGR's video brings up some interesting parallels, I wasn't convinced that John Dee was in fact Dr. Monty. And
I agree. I don't think that his video personally, no shade against him, I just don't think that that's personally the egg solve, especially after the Blundell interview. He would have literally publicly stated it, in my opinion. I genuinely think that Blundell himself will upload a video when somebody actually finds it.
and that the impossible Easter egg was solved for a few reasons. It doesn't align with any of the clues that Blundell gave us over the years during interviews, and to refer to the document that this theory is based on, it seemed to me that this was simply one of the many concept ideas provided by developers during the early production
Right.
of Black Ops 3 Zombies, before any of the timeline and stuff was established.
For sure, though, the document that Black Ops 3 documents came out, it was huge. The amount of information we got about like the Revelations Uncut Easter egg, the Super Pack-a-Punch, like it was crazy. And also about the ciphers and the impossible Easter egg now.
Because
Crazy.
throughout the events of Black Ops 3 Zombies' story, it's pretty clear that this proposed narrative concept was not followed through with, as it wouldn't make any sense in relation to the Chronorium timeline or just in general the events of the whole Ether story. We also know that there were many inspirations that are explored within the developer docs. For example, this page detailing the creation of the Shadow Man shows that it
Is this not from freaking Half-Life? Boys, is this... Oh, I was about... Is this from the developer doc? The Half-Life image? Bro, no way. The Slender Man? Wait, that's the Slender Man, bro. No way. Is this actually legit?
was influenced by a character called the G-Man from the game Half-Life. Now,
Right.
a solid theory that has been circulating out there for
That's
a while
crazy.
now is
I didn't
the
know that.
aesthetic inspiration for our KN-44 Hypercube blueprint is derived from the 1981 movie Time Bandits. Within the
Oh my gosh, look at what they're holding. Does that not look like the Hypercube? What the frick?
film, there is a blueprint map that holds the secrets of the universe that looks very similar to
Whoa.
our. What's really fascinating is that within the developer docs, it's revealed that Time Bandits did not just influence our blueprint, but Dr. Monty himself. The Supreme Being is a godlike character within the film that holds striking resemblance to Dr. Monty. In the secret map from the film that we theorized about previously, was actually created by the Supreme Being, which again is similar to how our KN-44 blueprint was created by Monty, which we see him signing in the alternate loading screens of the zombie comet. It's clear from the developer docs that the majority of the inspiration for Dr. Monty was derived from the movie Time Bandits. He even has a similar aesthetic appearance.
True.
But then when you compare these two blueprints, they do have some similarities, like both holding the ultimate secrets within their respective universes. Yet our zombies blueprint...
I wonder if this image is like a rubric for this image. You know, I feel like Blundell would pull something like that. Especially, I mean, look at what's on the side of this image. You got these clocks. That looks like some friggin' BO4 type step. What if it's in BO4? See, a lot of people are saying that. I don't think it is. I think it's 100% not in BO2, not in BO4, not in BO1, not Cold War or any modern zombies. It's 100% in BO3. But some people think it's in BO4. Maybe this video says it's in BO4. I don't know, especially with this image with the clocks. Frick, I don't know.
It's quite different. It has some pretty bizarre, unrelated additions, like the Hypercube and the KN-44. So, we have the KN-44 Hypercube blueprint, John D in his books, and all these unsolved ciphers in Black Ops 3 Zombies. The question is, does this all somehow tie together? At this point, I was just in awe of the fact that I have now been researching advanced mathematics, complex cryptography, and occultist figures from the 1500s, all because of an Easter egg in Call of Duty Zombies.
The reward of this Easter egg, somebody said in the chat, is just going to be a hello note from Jason Blundell. That's it.
Down the rabbit hole
all for nothing. Yeah, the reward is going to be garbage, but it's just going to be the claim to fame. Whoever actually solves it, bro, like the claim to fame is going to be insane. Literally 150 IQ genius, bro. Oh, and then here's the Hypercube. Breakthrough number 1. Oh, let's go, man. This is sick. This is sick.
Huge thank you to Gaz and Lightning. They put a lot of work into some of the research in these next segments. Their channels will be linked down below. After all this time, I did start asking myself, what the hell is up with this John D fella? Is there some other connection here that we're missing? As we have established before, everything that Blundell did was done with intent. I knew he wouldn't introduce specific elements of a historical figure like John D for no reason.
Yeah.
I just had no idea what yet. Even though that some people's faith had depleted in it, this whole time I still believe that the KN-44 blueprint was without a doubt the most important piece to this impossible
I agree.
history.
He referenced it a lot,
It is undeniable the progress on this puzzle had hit a major stalemate over time. A bunch of interesting discoveries that had been made outside of it, but I was struggling to find any way to link our findings together without being unrealistic. My ultimate goal was trying to connect the blueprint and John D together, so I started to dig deeper. First, I looked into John D. What do we really know about him? He was an English mathematician, astronomer, occultist, and an alchemist, born in 1527. Now, the initial face value connections I made with John D was that he had done extensive work around alchemy and developed and utilized ciphers to secretly communicate and preserve his alchemy study.
Dude, maybe this is a tie-in with BO4. Maybe y'all are right. Sheesh.
Now, both cryptography and alchemy obviously make some memorable appearances within COD Zombies. Yep. Alchemy mainly within Blundell's Chaos story in Black Ops 4, and even now in Black Ops 6. I also thought that D, being a respected astronomer,
Listen, I just want to say this. I want to say this because I feel like people need to know this. The Chaos story was Blundell's creation. It is cool that we are getting chaos elements in Black Ops 6, right? With the Sentinel artifact. But I think in terms of the impossible Easter egg, looking past something like Cold War is a mistake. It would not be in Cold War. It would not be in BO6. Many of the devs on BO3 didn't even know about the impossible Easter egg, right? So it's 100% tied to Jason Blundell personally, which means it is either at most between BO3 and BO4. No way is it past that.
Potentially have significance regarding the solar system constellation sketches on the KN-44 Hypercube blueprint. But even with my continued research, I failed to discover anything about John D that I thought was really groundbreaking. I felt like I had exhausted all my efforts trying to find any noteworthy connection between our two main focuses in this impossible Easter egg hunt. This was all until I took a second look at the history of the Hypercube, more specifically, its origin. In 1970, 1978, the hypercube invention was credited to a mathematics professor named Thomas Bankoff and a computer scientist named Charles Strauss, who teamed up to create an animated visualization of a three-dimensional cube rotating in four-dimensional space, which is now what we know as a hypercube or a tesseract, a concept us Impossible Easter egg hunters are all too familiar with by now. But it is also very important to note that in 1888, Charles Hinton, an older British mathematician, wrote a book called A New Era of Thought, where he describes a 4D cube, naming it the tesseract. He was credited for widening our understanding of comprehending 4D geometry.
Is this becoming Transformers, bro? Dude, I swear, by the end of this, if somebody actually solves it, somebody's gonna make a National Treasure type movie. Someone star Nicolas Cage for the freaking Impossible Easter egg hunt on BO3, bro.
Now, clearly this is all discovered hundreds of years after John Dee's time, so there's no way that he has any link to the foundings of the hypercube. Or does he? I then stumbled across this, and this is where shit gets a bit crazy.
New Jerusalem? Dude, somebody just said in the chat, the Easter egg is Jesus is king. Oh my gosh. Oh, bro, we're going into Oh, bro, we're going down a rabbit hole. Jason Blundell, man. Dude, listen, this is what Blundell would do. This is what Blundell would do, man.
Crazy. In 1564, John Dee wrote a book titled The Hieroglyphic Monad that details his studies on hieroglyphics and specifically the Monars Hieroglyphica, a symbol that to him represented spiritual evolution, which was made up of a combination of several astrological and alchemical symbols. Dee intended the Monars to serve as a tool for contemplation and understanding, a kind of esoteric key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. To display these ideas, Dee also established advanced geometric theorem that
it's the hypercube, bro.
Was unheard of
the
at the
hypercube.
time. And to my absolute shock, in doing so,
dude.
John Dee conceptualizes the very first design of a 4D cube.
Bro.
A cube within a cube.
Dude, is Blundell like an IQ genius? Is he like a 180 IQ genius? He could be, dude.
Over 300 years before it was even given a name, hypercube or tesseract, John Dee literally described the concept of 4D geometry long before the world could comprehend or visualize what it really was. It wasn't until centuries later where historians have now gone back and theorized that within Dee's hieroglyphic monad book, he may have just developed the earliest impression of a hypercube in history. In the description, I will link a couple of videos that I watched of the experts doing an extensive breakdown, divulging Dee's work with the conceptualization of the hypercube. To add to this even further, in modern history, old scriptures of John Dee's work have been transcribed and translated in the early 2000s, showing how Dee revisited his hypercube concept when exhibiting what was known as his Black Venus ritual, a dark religious-like ritual performance.
Bro. Blundell's got us summoning freaking demons out here. What the frick is going on here, Jason Blundell? What the frick? Dude, this is what I mean, bro. I guarantee you by the end of this, someone's gonna find the freaking Holy Grail or something like it. This is crazy.
That Dee conjured up, which is visualized as a collection of astrology symbols on the squares of an unfolded hypercube in the shape of a cross in a religion.
Blundell's got us doing dark magic, bro. What the frick?
Just fashion. We believe that there are some similarities drawn from this with our KN44 hypercube blueprint, as the apothegm symbols on the summoning key are displayed in a similar way.
No way, bro. No way.
I also pointed out in a previous video that how the summoning circles in Shadows of Evil seem to resemble a flat hypercube net.
Dude, Blundell's gonna get us doing dark magic. He's getting us doing dark magic. What the frick is going on?
The zombies community since then has also theorized that the summoning circles actually resemble John Dee's portrayal of the seal of God. Now, with this uncovering that Dee has a link to the hypercube, it's
I'm gonna see y'all in Argartha, bro. What the frick?
now possible that both of these theories are true. In the modern research of John Dee, experts have also theorized that his seal of God drawing may actually be derived from an unfolded tesseract net, aka the hypercube, which makes a lot of sense and why all three of these hold such strong resemblance. As I said, studying all of this, months of trying to find answers for mysteries in Black Ops 3 Zombies, and of course, attempting to solve the impossible Easter egg, I've had to be mindful that it's easy to get carried away and wander beyond the realms of reality. But here we have John D and the Hypercube. Unanswered questions that I wasn't even sure they had anything to do with each other. The fact that these two seemingly isolated things now actually have a deeply
They have a
rooted
correlation.
Genuinely shocked me.
Dude, wow. Wow. That is really wild. And it's just from Blundell scattering a couple title books on DE and then like putting the Hypercube image in the Giant. And they now have a connection. It makes you wonder some other things that we've overlooked in BO3 if that also has a connection to what he's just connected here.
So
that's
I start
crazy.
To ask the question, how do we take that connection and turn it into something useful?
Right.
Is there something key that we can take from D's Black Venus ritual? Is there a way we can translate his astrology symbols from his Hypercube format and make it relate to our Apothecan language on our Hypercube? Or do the constellations themselves on the blueprint have further significance than we think?
Right.
Is there more to it than meets the eye?
Dude, and it makes sense. Dr. Monty is basically like the god of the Black Ops 3 universe, right? And so it's like, it makes a lot of sense that he's literally signing a document that is basically reality in a cube. It's crazy. It's so meta within the BO3 zombie storyline. It's insane. Wow.
If you thought that segment of the video was
That was wild. That was wild.
Prepare yourself for this next part.
Oh, bruh.
Throughout this whole hunt for the
This is
impossible
crazy.
Easter egg, the majority of our investigating has actually taken place outside of the game.
Really?
Whether it was researching the history of people or places, or trying to crack the ciphers that have remained unsolved for so long. It was widely accepted from the hints Blundell gave us in his interviews that there wouldn't be anything we could find within the game's code, which didn't rule out finding anything important in the game.
Listen, I agree. I think this Easter egg is going to be a hunt in real life. I would not be surprised if that is a part of this Easter egg. Would not be surprised at all.
But anything that could be extracted from the files would have been likely found by now. Nevertheless, throughout the last few months, we have been searching through the maps to try and find any patterns that would help us crack the unsolved Revelation ciphers. And to now circle back to this clip that I mentioned earlier, where I emphasized how important this statement really is.
Just like, the ciphers are so hard that there's nothing else. So it's like,
Look at him,
Not
bro.
on all the ciphers yet.
exactly, no one knows. Which is like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you were going for those ciphers, did you not
We got to go to Austria. I missed it. Dude, yeah. I was there. I missed it. I got to go back. Got to go back to DE, man. Home word from Castle.
intend, but I guess expect that people are going to just sort of hit like a stalemate and just be like, well, I've got them, basically?
I don't know. I think there's people out there who there's such passion in the community. I don't watch it close enough, but I am sure there are people who are still working on some of those ciphers.
Oh, of course there is, yeah.
Dude, and they're still unsolved to this day. Like, dude, think about it. This interview was in 2017. This is now 8 years ago. And it's nothing really has changed on the cipher front from what I've heard.
And I love that because there's other things that will appear.
Okay.
But yeah,
There's other things that will appear.
yeah,
So maybe it is in BO4, bro. I don't know.
There is more to this than we initially thought. Over the years, Blundell established an identity of a very cryptic nature. In doing so, it has led people to intensely analyze everything he said and every movement he made. Although I think this thorough examining can be productive in some cases, for example like the Morse code blinking in this interview.
It's lightning round time. Okay. Are you ready for this?
The freaking Morse code blinking from Blundell with Milo. Dude, this is jokes, bro. Nah, man. Listen, I think somebody just said this in chat. I think this is hilarious. If we solve the impossible EE, then Jason will come back to Treyarch and make good zombies again. Honestly, that should genuinely be the reward. That would be the wildest reward probably of all time.
Yes.
Of all time. Here's the other thing. So Blundell is now working at another studio, right? What if it is continued within that studio? He said there will be more things to come. He has a new gaming studio now. What if there's more stuff to come? I don't know. Maybe it's impossible to solve as of right now. That's another thing.
I think the plan here is that he's not going to look at me for the whole thing.
Absolutely.
He's
The hints he gave us when teasing unfound ciphers.
So my question is, what is your favorite unsolved zombie cipher which game map is it from?
Great question.
Okay, so I would say a couple of my favorites
And the giant, huh?
are actually in Voyage of Despair.
Wait, and people just solved some of these recently, didn't they? Wait,
There's
what?
actually,
Do I got
quite
7
a
TV?
few.
Yep.
Now, the only thing I would say, because you said you don't want any hints, sure, you know, I don't want to cause a rumble.
I would consider
I don't want to cause a rumble. And then, wait, Glitch and Queen, I think, found that one, isn't it? Because it was like a controller rumble.
these clips examples
Right?
where Blundell is intentionally trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
And that is what's crucial here, his intent. Because we have been so obsessive over all of Blundell's comment, I believe sometimes we begin to overanalyze the things he says that he had no intent behind.
For
For
sure.
example, this recent clip where Blundell did this amazing interview on Jeff Gertzman's show.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you know, for a while there, you were the face of zombies. And you know, and it's funny. Like,
Bring my
going
boy
and-
back.
And looking, there are still people out there that are like, he said he was going to reveal this Easter egg. Like, has everything been found? Or is there still something out there? There's still stuff out there that you
God, yeah.
There's no others game like zombies in terms of Easter eggs. Like, it's insane how many things still get found years and years later.
buried in some of the stuff that.
And Jeff, to be honest, if I have my way, I'll be dead and buried, and there'll still be stuff in there, and I'll be quite happy.
This guy, man.
Yeah, it was.
This guy.
It was such a fun time because.
The full interview will be linked in the description. A lot of the
Yeah, the interview's great. I honestly might even make another video about it. I haven't even made one video about it.
people in the community, when seeing this clip, thought there's an unsolved Easter egg on Buried simply because Blundell used the word buried. I think
Oh, man, we're cooked. The community's cooked.
this is an example of overanalyzing.
The
Another
community's
example is this clip.
The thing, just to crush everyone's dreams.
Okay. The official statement.
You can ask me all you want. I'm going to put that away in a vault and talk to you again about it.
Oh, dude, this guy, man. This guy.
Okay. And by then we'll be old
It's in the vault. It's in the vault.
and grown beards.
Yeah, exactly.
When hunting the impossible Easter egg, a lot of people took this in a vault comment in a very literal way, where I genuinely believe this is just Blundell naturally describing in a metaphorical way. So what is the point I'm trying to make?
But okay, granted though, he did bring up that Voyage of Despair clip, and Blundell's rumble like suggestion literally helped them find a cipher where it was like a controller rumble, right? I get why people overanalyze. I get it.
Here.
I get
Because I'm
it.
not trying to diminish certain people's theories. What I'm saying is distinguishing between what Blundell said with intent and without
True.
has saved me from wasting a lot of time.
Very true, very
This
true.
interview with Dalek where Blundell states that he loves the fact that people are still working on the unsolved ciphers, because once they are solved, more things will appear.
That's a
I'm sure
great
there are people
point.
Still working on some of those ciphers.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And I love that because there's other things that will appear.
Okay.
But yeah,
Other things that will be like, what the frick is bro talking about?
This statement is probably the most straightforward and transparent hint we have ever heard out of Jason Blundell's mouth that he fully intended.
Right,
At face
right.
value, most of us heard this comment and thought, well, that's a given. Of course, any cipher will reveal narrative teasers for the future. But why say more things will appear with
Yep.
that cheeky grin?
That's
Jason
true.
Blundell, a man so cryptic, to say something in such a straightforward fashion absolutely screams suspicion. Now, fast
Yeah, I
forward
agree.
8 years later, these ciphers still haven't been solved.
It's
If they
crazy,
were
yeah.
meant to be story and lore pieces to tease the future maps and games, Blundell wouldn't have made them so difficult. Convinced that these ciphers held more significance than story is what kept me looking for more. Revisiting all the maps over and over, this time we were inspecting some suspicious leads on Horizon Dark.
Oh man. Is it this screen? I was wondering what this screen was about. Is he teasing something here? Oh man. This is a wild video already. I'm like, I can't believe this. Let's see it.
More specifically, the leads that we were chasing are these past book papers in the projector room. We believe that they could be crucial to cracking one of the unsolved Revelation ciphers, as these papers
Really?
also have a twin set that do appear in Revelations itself. However,
Oh.
while sweeping the projector room for any relevant material, we stumbled across something far more exciting. We wanted to get a closer look at the actual images that the projector slideshow plays in the projector room, to see if there's anything disguised among the images and text. We also inspected...
Who the frick are these people in the pods? That isn't... Okay, this is Dempsey, but who the frick are these people? That isn't Ultimus, is it?
The surveillance monitors in the command room, which record security footage of various areas within Drak's Griffin Castle. All of these monitors in the command room show panning camera angles of each specific area. The rocket testing site, the first dragon area,
right?
The biodome on the moon,
yeah.
Dempsey's rocket taking off.
Right.
There is even one that is broken and static. But there is one particular monitor in the corner of the room that is unique. This specific computer screen rotates through and surveils 4 different areas. It shows the first dragon area again, the power room, the upper courtyard,
right,
and then the projector room. The
right.
place we'd just been exploring. And upon closer inspection, lightning spotted something. What we have found here is without a doubt the most exciting moment throughout this whole impossible Easter egg hunt. In the few brief seconds that the camera shows the projector room, in this footage on the right side of the screen, you can see some faint drawings on the wall. These drawings aren't any old scribbles.
Is that the hyper... Bro, that's the hypercube. What? No way. Bro, there it is. You can see it faintly. It looks like the summoning key and the hypercube in it.
These are the constellation schematics from the KN-44
wow.
blueprint.
No way.
Absolutely blew my mind.
Wow.
The first thing I thought to myself...
Oh my gosh, so they're hidden on all the maps then. Wait, how many are there? 1, 2? Maybe that's like... Let's count that as 2. 2, 3, or 4. There could be one hidden in every single DLC, right? If the first one is on DE, bro, that makes sense. Bro, because they found the summoning key image in the giant, right? And now they have 4 constellations that are the same in each map, right? So this is the one they found in DE. So they could be, the other 3 could be Zetsubo, GK, Rev, right? Wow. Okay, that's crazy.
I
What the
definitely
heck?
have no recollection of ever seeing that in the projector room. So we went to check,
Wow.
and sure enough, they simply are not there.
Yeah, they're
where they
not
are
there.
supposed to be is on this
Is this passport thing? Oh, bro. Okay, that's crazy.
wall where
No,
this
that's
long
crazy.
equation is written.
So it's literally Blundell teasing where to go. Oh my gosh, and look at that freaking equation. Yeah, somebody call Mr. Waffles up, bro.
For
What
the
heck
few
is
seconds that this shot passes by,
Wow.
fragments of the hypercube blueprint have been intentionally concealed within this
Wow.
low-resolution security footage.
Wow.
This has been hidden in Drak, one of the most iconic maps in history, for 9 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. So I wonder if it's like a projector thing where it's like each map has like a projector that shows something slightly altered. Dude, that is insane.
Forget how long we've been thoroughly looking for the impossible Easter egg in the
Wow.
last year. This has been in the game since 2016,
Wow.
and no one has ever noticed it.
Wow.
Now, I can understand a lot of you are probably skeptical seeing this, but I promise you, go into your game and get a look for yourself. It's truly astonishing.
It's there. You can literally see it. He doesn't even have to aim in. I can see it right there. Dude, this is crazy. I honestly think, to be honest, it's probably on, like, there were 4. There's 4 corners, 4 DLCs. I think people got to get looking for the hypercube on Zetsubo, GK, and Rev.
Looking at this frame closely, there actually appears to be 2 of the constellation rings
Oh, there's a
present.
second one there. Yeah, what the heck is that?
The more distinguishable one on the right-hand wall, and there's also one on the floor. Neither appear in the actual projector room within the
Right.
map. The constellation on the right shares the most similarities with the top right constellation on the KN-44 blueprint. It's not exactly identical, as it seems like one of...
Yeah, it looks like it kind of is similar. You can see the one on the top and then the one on the left, but there looks like there's one on the right here, but there isn't one there. Unless that's the next step, bro. Why isn't there one there? I don't know.
of the orbiting...
Or it is me. Oh, it's true. It could be mirrored. That's true. It could be mirrored. But then why would it be mirrored? Oh, dude, here we go.
planets are
Here
situated
I
in a
go.
slightly different location compared to the one on the blueprint. but it's difficult to accurately compare as this
Wow,
video is so
that's a
low
huge
resolution.
breakthrough.
The small variation between these two drawings may prove significant going forward.
This is absolutely tied in, 100%. Blundell wanted people to look here.
The constellation on the ground is really too blurry to even make out, or compare it to see if it holds any resemblance to the other constellations on the blueprint. It's crazy.
Aren't those computers on Rev and Verrucht? Could be. Could be. Also, it's interesting because like the original image was fragmented too, right? So maybe that has something to do with it. Also, this is the one with Dr. Monty's signature. Maybe it's on Ascension, right? Where he signed it. I don't know.
How after all this time, the KN-44 blueprint only
Wow.
made appearances in the Giant and Torn Pieces, and then Monty signs it in the Zombie comics. And now
Right.
we have a new part to this puzzle. I have to say, even though I'm shocked
That's
that this
incredible.
has remained unfound for so long,
Yeah.
it really does make sense.
This is 100% tied to it. You can't prove that it isn't. That's unbelievable.
It's hidden in the perfect way where
Wow.
it can't be data mined, because it's merged into
Right.
another image of something completely unrelated. Not only
Right.
is this not scripted, but you can't even search for it in the files because it's masked behind something completely unsuspecting.
Wow, Blundell's crazy, dude. What?
Camouflage in the dark background of a fuzzy computer screen that swipes by for a few seconds. So now there are multiple avenues to
That's
go down.
crazy.
Firstly, and evidently, there is a chance that there are other hidden fragments of the
I
Blueprint
believe it.
constellation hidden within other DLC maps
believe
in
it.
Black Ops 3 Zombies. Maybe even in other computer screen. If they
Yep.
are as hidden as this one, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's crazy to even think that that is now a possibility. Another route of thinking is
And then someone needs to solve this. Whatever this is going to solve, right? Equals 0. Oh, no. Is the impossible Easter egg just nothing, man?
that the appearance of these constellations could have significance to John
Wow.
Dee. As I said earlier, one of the initial connections I made before this was found was that Dee was heavily involved with astronomy, and that his primary emergence takes place within these books in Der Eisendrache, some of which are even located in the projector room, which happens to be the same place that this blueprint constellation should appear. Also, the fact that the KN-44 wall buy is in this room as well.
Maybe that's the common denominator, right? Maybe it's where the KN-44 is on every other part of, like, the DLCs. That would probably make the most amount of sense. Maybe that is literally just, like, the clue, the tie-in of why the KN-44 is so special. It's also because I'm pretty sure the KN-44 is on every single Zombies map.
If John Dee's books
Wow.
do contain some kind of encryption, it may all be linked, especially with Dee's newfound connection to the Hypercube. There are beginning to be a lot of parallels occurring that are too good for coincidence.
Wow.
One of these John Dee books in Der Eisendrache titled The Evil Archon also appears multiple times in Revelations, even in the Undercroft section of the map, which potentially could also hold meaning in the bigger picture, along with the passbook papers in Der Eisendrache's projector room that we were investigating, which led us to the discovery of the hidden blueprint constellation. These passbook papers also appear a second time in Revelations, which we believe have a link to one of the unsolved ciphers in Revelations.
Wow.
But we will save that for...
That's a huge breakthrough. That is a massive breakthrough because they're connecting two concepts as well as now masking it within the literal DNA of the game. They're literally grabbing it in each of the single maps. This is unbelievable. I think this could actually be the most prominent lead we've ever had. I actually agree with this.
For another video when
It's a direct lead. Like, you can't deny it.
we've covered more ground.
Wow.
One final thing to note that I did mention in a previous video is that within the developer docs, all 24 of John Dee's books are featured in the asset list as props. But there is an additional book, Artifacts of Legend, listed that does not appear in any map, indicating that it was cut content. There is a two-sided debate with this. Some people think that because the book was meant to be in the game and was cut, it means it's unlikely the lettering of Dee's books hold any encryption and they're simply references to his work. The other side of the coin is the notion that this Artifacts of Legends book being cut could reveal a method to solve any potential encryption backwards. Figuring out the reason why the book was cut and why the book's removal had to be done in order to make the encrypted message work. Whether it was the amount of characters in the title, total books involved, capitalization of letters, or even the letters chosen. What parameters did this specific book not meet to be a part of this puzzle? To be completely honest, I'm not really sure where I stand on this debate as of right now.
I wonder if this connection. Honestly, if Blundell cut it out, it probably doesn't mean a lot. I don't think that's a focus, right? I think the main focus should actually be more about like what that equation means. And then if there are more areas that you can find with each of those parts. That's insane.
All I know is after all this
Wow.
time, finding this fragment of the blueprint in Der Eisendrache is the most exciting progress
For
I've
real,
made on the
it's the
Impossible
most
Easter eggs
direct
since my
progress
first
we've
video.
seen.
All
Yeah.
my focus is going to be on finding any more of these hidden fragments across the other maps in Black Ops 3 Zombies.
Honestly, to me, I think this actually tells me that it's not on BO4. I think this is fully a BO3 specific Impossible Easter egg. I mean, that's literally what the title is, a BO3 Impossible Easter egg.
Or finding any more links between John D and these constellations, or his involvement with the Hypercube. If you want to be involved with the Impossible Easter egg hunt, join my Discord in the description of this video. We are closing in on this now, and in 6 weeks' time, it will mark the day that Blundell stated he thinks it will take 8 years to solve.
Hold on a second. You see this? You see these lines? Now, maybe I'm going schizo here, okay? But you remember the original image he showed of the hypercube here with the clocks? You see, why is that the zoom level? How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. There's more than 10. There's a lot more than 10. I wonder if that has something to do with it, though. Blundell would probably do that. It's like literally like a puzzle. I'm going schizo, bro. I'm going schizo. This is crazy. I'm invested now.
His involvement with the Hypercube.
I'm
if
invested
you want to be
now.
involved with the
I'm
Impossible
invested.
Easter egg hunt, join my Discord in the description of this
It's
video.
probably just the
We are
zoom level of the lens on the camera, but it's like the fact that this has meaning now.
closing in on this now.
It's shaped in the same way as the original thing. Oh, dude, I'm going schizo.
And in 6 weeks' time,
I'm
it will
going
mark the
schizo.
day that Blundell stated he thinks it will take 8 years to
Oh my
solve.
gosh.
Let's make that timeline happen.
I'm going schizo. I'm going schizo. Sky in it. This is an incredible video. Absolutely W video. This is legit, in my opinion, the biggest breakthrough we've seen for the Impossible Easter egg. 100%.